How's it going, guys? Fletch here, bringing you a Fletch Talks video. Today we're going to be reviewing Game 6 of the Premier League season. Many talking points, some great goals, and some interesting scenarios going forward. So without further ado, let's begin. We'll start with Chelsea's 0-0 draw with West Ham, and what a poor game this was. Chelsea's perfect start to the season ends with a goalless draw against West Ham, but their unbeaten start to the season remains intact. It took Chelsea to the second half to create any decent chances, and even then, poor finishing let them down. Alvaro Morata and N'Golo Kante had the Blues' best chances, but couldn't find the back of the net. Whilst at the other end, West Ham created the better chances of the game, and may reflect on this game, questioning how they didn't win, with Mikel Antonio having two glorious chances in the first half, and then Andrei Yarmolenko missing a sitter in the second half from a header from close range. Chelsea's attention now turns to Liverpool in both the Carabao and Premier League, whilst West Ham face Macclesfield in the Carabao Cup before facing another big game with Manchester United on Saturday. Next, we come into a game in which I got the prediction bang on in terms of scoreline in my preview video. Liverpool were 3-0 winners against Southampton thanks to an own goal, a Joel Matip header and a Mohamed Salah tap-in, helping Jurgen Klopp maintain his perfect start to the season and return to the top of the table in doing so. Southampton struggled to create much, with Alisson in the Liverpool goal being nothing more than a spectator for the majority of the game. Liverpool have now 2 games against Chelsea coming up, one in the Carabao Cup, one in the Premier League, which should be very interesting to watch, and arguably their biggest test of the season to date, while Southampton face Wolves on Saturday, a game that Southampton will be wanting to win and get more points on the board. Next, we come to another game in which my prediction was very close. I predicted a 4-0 City win, and to be fair, I was close because City went on to win 5-0 against Cardiff. I said City would be wanting a response following their slight shock of a loss to Lyon in the Champions League, and that's exactly what happened. And unfortunately for Cardiff, they were the wrong team in the wrong place at the wrong time. They got battered. It was a case of when the first goal went in, the floodgates opened and City stormed to victory following Sergio Aguero's breakthrough of the deadlock. Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan and 2 from summer signing Riyad Mahrez all added to Cardiff's misery. Cardiff needs something to change. They've shown glimpses of a fight this season, but it hasn't been enough. A relegation fight is what many people predicted, but the severity of the fight is what's really concerning here. Could Neil Warnock be the first manager to get sacked this season? Possibly. There's no Carabao Cup option for Cardiff this week following their previous round loss to Norwich, but they do face Burnley in the Premier League on Sunday. As for City, Oxford are first up in the Carabao Cup before Brighton visit the Etihad on Saturday. Next up, we have Man United's 1-1 draw with Wolves. United again lose points on the teams above them as Jean Moutinho's second half equaliser cancelled out Fred's first goal for United since arriving in the summer. It's possibly another sign that United's progression is still not to the level that supporters are wanting and has definitely halted their winning run of the past 3 games in all competitions. As for Wolves, it's a good point for them, but both teams, they will go away from this game thinking they could have done more. And the 3 points could have definitely gone either way, but a point apiece may be a fair result on reflection. A reunion of sorts is in place for Tuesday as Jose Mourinho and Frank Lampard face each other for the first time as managers when Derby take on United, before Premier League action resumes for United in the form of facing West Ham. As for Wolves, Leicester are first up in the midweek's game of the Carabao Cup, and then Southampton are the opposition for Saturday's game. Next, we come to the game that rounded off the Premier League weekend in the form of Arsenal versus Everton. 2 goals in quick succession from Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang helped Arsenal to a 2-0 win and extended Arsenal's winning run to 5 games unbeaten in all competitions, and caused Marco Silva and Everton to suffer back-to-back losses. It wasn't a clean and perfect performance from the Gunners, but positives were 3 points and finally a clean sheet, something they've been waiting for so badly at the Emirates, other than the 3 points of course. As for Everton, slight warning signs in back-to-back losses and the missed opportunities they had, particularly in this game where they weren't clinical enough, are all things that should be looked at. Arsenal now sit in 6th whilst Everton are in 12th. Arsenal are in cup action this week against Brentford before facing Watford on Saturday, as they'll be looking to keep up their good run of form, whilst Fulham are visitors to Everton on Saturday. Next becomes Tottenham's 2-1 victory over Brighton, and Tottenham have finally stopped the rot, so to speak, by winning here, as Harry Kane got back on the score sheet. Eric Lamela doubled Tottenham's lead in the second half before Anthony Nokia half the deficit in the dying embers of the game. But by then it was too little too late, and the comeback was never really on. Tottenham rise to 5th whilst Brighton are in 13th. Spurs now turn their attention to Watford, who they face in the Carabao Cup midweek, whilst Huddersfield wait in the wings for Saturday's game. As for Brighton, no cup football this week, so they will wait to play their next game on Saturday against Premier League champions Manchester City, as their mixed start to the season continues. Next, we come to the game that opened up the Premier League weekend with Fulham versus Watford, and Alexander Mitrovic's equaliser for Fulham helped them gain a point against Watford, who have hit their little bump in the road since their great start to the season. Andre Gray gave Watford the lead, which they held until the 78th minute, where Mitrovic scored, and both sides took a point apiece away from the game. Watford now sit in 4th, whilst Fulham sit in 15th. We'll be interested to see if Fulham can use this as a platform to build on and continue getting points on the board, and for Watford, whether they can continue to be difficult to beat, or whether they'll see this as a missed opportunity not to have got back to winning ways. They'll have 2 more London teams to contend with this week when they face Tottenham in the Carabao Cup, and also have Arsenal in Premier League action at the weekend, whilst Fulham travel to Millwall in the League Cup before facing Everton at the weekend. Next becomes arguably the Premier League's biggest shock of the weekend. Hands up honestly, who predicted a Burnley win here, let alone a 4-0 win at that? Burnley have finally recorded their first victory of the season at the expense of high-flying Bournemouth, who until this point have enjoyed a great start to the season. Mate Vidra opened the scoring, and Aaron Lennon doubled Burnley's lead just over 2 minutes later, before 2 second-half goals from substitute Ashley Barnes rounded off a sort of out-of-the-blue fantastic performance from Sean Dyche's men. The thing for Burnley now is, can they build on this performance? They have Burton Albion midweek in the Carabao Cup before facing Cardiff next Sunday. This is a perfect time to get 3 wins on the bounce, as they are facing opposition that are 2 divisions below them in Burton, and a few days later they are facing a team lacking in confidence and quality and find themselves rock bottom of the Premier League in Cardiff. As for Bournemouth, they need to prove that this result was a one-off. A loss wouldn't have been so bad, but this was an emphatic loss to a side who haven't been that great this season. Blackburn are up next in the Carabao Cup Wednesday before hosting Crystal Palace on Monday. They'll be looking for a response in those games for sure. The penultimate game on this review is Palace's 0-0 draw with Newcastle, and it still means that Newcastle are still without a win this season, as somehow Crystal Palace were held to a goalless draw. Palace are probably the better chances, and I'm sure Mamadou Sakho in particular will be kicking himself for missing that glorious chance he had somehow late on in the game. More disappointment and misery is put on Newcastle, the supporters, and Rafa Benitez, who is cutting more and more of a frustrated figure with each passing week. As for Palace, a missed opportunity not to record back-to-back victories this season, but now they turn their attention to West Brom in the Carabao Cup before Monday's trip to Bournemouth, whilst Newcastle have no League Cup action this week after being knocked out by Nottingham Forest in the previous round, and instead have more time to prepare for their game against Leicester on Saturday. And finally, Kelechi Iheanacho, James Maddison and Jamie Vardy all got on the score sheet as Leicester came from behind to beat Huddersfield 3-1. Matthias Jorgensen put the Terriers in front early on, but couldn't hold on to their advantage for long as Leicester came back to equalise, go in front, and then comfortably beat the struggling side as their winless run to the season continues. Good to see Iheanacho and Vardy back on the score sheet, whilst Maddison continues his bright start to his Leicester and Premier League career. But it's good that Claude Puel's side have got back to winning ways. An all-Premier League clash in a Carabao Cup awaits the Foxes when they face Wolves before Saturday's game, where they're against another struggling team in the form of Newcastle. Whilst Huddersfield face Tottenham next weekend, a game which signals things don't get any easier for the Terriers. They need to get points on the board quickly and need to get some confidence flowing through this team. But it will be difficult to do against Tottenham, a side who ended their 3-game losing run this weekend by beating Brighton. And that rounds up the Premier League review of Game 6 of the season. Guys, let me know in the comments section what you thought of this weekend's games. I'd love to read your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're new or want to see more content like this. Thank you all for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see you all and speak with you all in another video.